We have a young youth population which is far larger today. Second, retention spans are very low. So people switch very easily, unlike earlier. And today a decision is made in a jiffy basis, a review on TripAdvisor, a feedback from a friend, because it's all instantaneous. So it's all today's a Maggie noodle culture. Everything is 2 minutes. Right? Decision just goes like this. I will say a yes or a no. So that is one challenging, but it also gives the opportunity to brands who have got a very robust uh, service experience management in place to be able to ride that storm because people understand quality service. And I think that's a big differentiator. That the consumer has differentiated between people who offer good quality service, good quality products, which come with a guarantee, as opposed to fly-by-night operators. So, and here, 15 years later, I'm still with real estate and enjoying every moment of it, doing a lot of crazy stuff. And I'm fortunate that I have a promoter family that believes in the customer experience. And you realize it actually today has become a competitive advantage. It is no longer a feel good. So I won't use the experience as a feel good. It is pure expectation management of the customer because that's what competition does to you. And it's today become a strategic differentiator.
Hello, hi everyone. Welcome to the episode of Experience Beyond podcast. In this episode, we invite CX leaders from across the globe to share their journeys, insights, and how they are reshaping the future of customer experience. I'm your host, Yash Sultania. I'm the co-founder and CEO of XEBO.ai, where we empower businesses with cutting-edge experience management solutions. Today, we are deep diving into the art and science of building customer experience systems that don't just scale but inspire. To explore this, we are joined by Mr. Ajay Nambiar, Chief Service Officer and CEO at M3M India, and a true veteran in this world of CX transformation. Ajay brings with him over 28 years of experience across hospitality, real estate, and technology sectors. He began his career at Leela Group, where he was part of the founding team at Leela Palace, Bangalore, crafting high-touch luxury experiences, and then transitioning into real estate, taking pivotal roles at L&T Realty and now at M3M India, where he has architected award-winning CX frameworks. Ajay is also renowned for his ability to drive ISO-certified CX systems, building omni-channel strategies, and leading organizations in achieving industry-defining matrices like CSAT, TSAT, LSC, and NPS. He's also a sought-after speaker and advisor, known from bringing hospitality, great warmth into even the most complex customer journeys. In this episode, we will unpack what it takes to design CX excellence across industries, why standardization and empathy aren't mutually exclusive, and how leaders can future-proof their customer experience strategy in an AI-driven world. Welcome, Ajay, to the podcast. Thank you for your time today.
Yes, thanks so much for having me over. Just a few things. One, it's been a little longer than 28 years. I've just almost completed 3.5 decades.
Oh, amazing.
25 years. And my career in hotels was with the ITC group. That's where we started. I got my teeth at the end. But thank you so much. Excited to be here. Very kind of you to invite me. I think I like the fact that this is a very open forum. You talk to thought leaders. I think it adds great value. And I'm excited to be part of this journey along with you and your team.
Thank you so much. And Ajay, you've already been very well known in the CX fraternity, and we have seen you at so many CX summits, right, as a keynote, talking about very important agendas and how CX fraternity is moving forward. In fact, our first meeting was around 2 years back when we met in one of the CX forums. So you're a very renowned face in the CX fraternity, Ajay.
Thank you, Yash.
Yeah.
It's been a long journey, but happy that I can contribute. I think good part of tech today is, you speak today and people 30,000 miles away.
That's true.
Yeah, so happy to be part of this.
Sure. Great. And I'm sure that our audience will learn a lot from the interaction today. So I will start with some few pointers talking about your journey, Ajay. And definitely, it's so glad to meet people with that experience of more than 3 decades. And I'm sure I also have a lot to learn from you. So Ajay, I think you started with a very humble background, right? As from your hospitality days, working into as a manager, and then into customer care, and then moving towards customer service leadership roles, right? It is something which is very. I think you started from the roots, and then you have grown up. And just wanted to check with you in terms of how has been your experience in terms of, especially around the Indian ecosystem, or people focusing more on customer experience. If you can talk about that while walking through your professional journey and your industry experience.
Yes, it's been a roller coaster, if I can call it that. I started my career with hotels, and I must tell you that it wasn't a career plan. It is a career that happened, and I couldn't be happier. Guess I was at the right time at the right place. Having said that, one also needs to grab the opportunities when the right time comes. I was very fortunate when I started with hotels. We were at the cusp of technology uh, getting infused into hotels. We were the transition team between a manual system and a computerized system. That was my first brush with technology, where, if you ask me today, if a computer system goes down, which of course is not necessarily the easiest, how does the hotel run? I think we are probably the last batch of guys who can do both. If the computer system ever ran down, we could still run a hotel on a manual system. We were blessed. I think I was very blessed to be part of that generation where we saw the transition between a computerized system and a manual system. So that's how I started my journey. We were fortunate. We were at a time, and if you ask me, I think my grounding couldn't have been better. Hospitality, be it hotels or travel, are two industries which own your basic service skills. I think they are the best. I don't think there's anybody that comes close to it. And we were fortunate to be part of that. So we've had a very, very good blooming from that perspective in the service industry. And hotels are the best. I mean, from that perspective, I was fortunate to have trained at the Oberoi's and at ITC. Of course, the large part of my career was with ITC, and that's where they honed my skills on service. And I think that's very, very, very important that your foundation be strong. I was then fortunate that from hotels, when technology came into this country in two forms. One is when we had mobile phones which came in the late 90s. I was part of that when we were just starting mobile phones in India in the late 90s. And then I was fortunate enough, my luck was good, that I was taken into a pure tech support organization to set up India's first private internet service provider. And I had no clue. I'm not a tech guy, pure service guy, but to learn technology, and one learned it the hard way. I did that. I think I spent almost a decade with tech startups in India. Did a lot of good things with them. And I think what it does teach you is a lot of process rigor. Hotels taught me a lot of the service side of it. Tech taught me process rigor. Uh, we got into Six Sigma, root cause, uh, efficient operations, frugal management. So one learned that very, very successfully with the company that I worked with. Was fortunate. And then real estate happened. I was asked to come in and help professionalize an industry which at that time it didn't have defined operating procedures or standards. So, and here, 15 years later, I'm still with real estate and enjoying moment of it, doing a lot of crazy stuff. And I'm fortunate that I have a promoter family that believes in the customer experience. And I've got a whiteboard to paint whatever I want on it. Couldn't be anything better. So that's in a nutshell, Yash.
No, that's really inspiring. When you were talking about your experience, I could not help but think about the recent Microsoft outage that happened, and the world was at standstill. People didn't know what to do, right? So
Yes,
we don't have people right now who can do both the manual and the computerized work. I was at the airport and I spent 6 years, six. I spent 6 hours at the airport just to get a boarding pass. So I can imagine. And Ajay, I think you would be looking at a deja vu right now, right? Because of the AI that is coming in, that entire rethinking, relearning of what we have done in the past, reapplying the basic principle is happening. So I'm sure it will be a feeling of deja vu, learning new things, though it's very exciting. But yeah, to unlearn what has been done and learn the new way of of delivering experiences, delivering service to people has been changing. So we are living again in that exciting, challenging times. So Ajay, just to follow up on the previous point, we recently read a report where it was mentioned that 86% of the Indian consumers say CX is a key factor in brand loyalty. Yet many companies still see that as an early stages in the CX implementation journey and are not truly prioritizing it. You have also seen in your experience from CX move from a support function to a strategy function, and you have been lucky even to have promoters like the ones you have right now from M3M to give you that space and understand how important the experience is. What key shifts do you think that the businesses should focus on to move towards a CX sensitivity as of today?
The key shift is in the expectations of the consumer. The earlier part was your expectation was yehi milega. Today, with the shift of people's access to global whatever is available around the world, and they've got far more discerning and demanding. And you realize it actually today has become a competitive advantage. It is no longer a feel good. So I won't use the experience as a feel good. It is pure expectation management of the customer, because that's what competition does to you. And it's today become a strategic differentiator. I like the word that you also use, but it is a pure strategic differentiator. It is what sets you apart from everybody else, because in today's connected world, anybody can copy you. It's very easy to replicate, right? Including what you're doing in your area, it's easy to replicate. I mean, yes, you would have some intellectual property on the tech side, but beyond that, what? And I think that's where we have a far more demanding consumer base first. We have a young youth population which is far larger today. Second, retention spans are very low. So people switch very easily, unlike earlier. And today a decision is made in a jiffy basis, a review on TripAdvisor, a feedback from a friend, because it's all instantaneous. So it's all today's a Maggie noodle culture. Everything is 2 minutes. Right? Decision just goes like this. I say a yes or a no. So that is one challenging, but it also gives the opportunity to brands who have got a very robust service experience management in place to be able to ride that storm, because people understand quality service. And I think that's a big differentiator, that the consumer has differentiated between people who offer good quality service, good quality products, which come with a guarantee, as opposed to fly-by-night operators.
That's completely true, Ajay. And a very interesting question that I always have, and I no better person than you to answer that. Right. When I bought my home with my parents around 10 12 years back, we always look at matrices like square footage rate, right, location. Are these still relevant in today's scenario? Because M3M is selling both affordable and ultra rich housings as well. We are hearing a lot of stories about camellias and other places being sold for 50 crores, 40 crores, right? So are these matrices around square foot are still relevant, or people are giving more importance towards experience, lifestyle, social status when they are buying and making the property decisions to buy a property?
The experience is an upside. It is a plus. At a very base level, yes. The good part is in 2017 when VERA came in, it brought in a lot of regulation benefiting the consumer, which I think was outstanding, right? Because it's an emotional buy, it's a lifetime investment. I mean, this is not something you pick up every day, right? It's a decision the entire family is involved in to take, and you put in your hard-earned money and you see results. I think it's the only asset class where you pay in 85, 90% upfront and you see the product delivery 3 years later. So this has to come with a lot of trust and reliability. And we've seen what's happened in the past. So I'm fortunate that the company that I work for, the deliveries and commitments all happen as promised, which is excellent. Having said that, so when you're buying this product, the base metric is going to be, rate per square foot. Like you pick up a shampoo, you look at how many ml it is, and you compare the ml to the cost of that product, and then make a buying decision. This is similar. The square footage is at a very base level that you would say, okay, what am I getting? And for that price, because the prices today, I think the last 3 years have been on a bull run. The market has been hot in real estate. That people are looking at the upside to it, and the upside to it is the amenity. How would you differentiate yourself from any other development? So ours, we are amongst the largest mixed-use developments, which basically means like Singapore, Hong Kong, Dubai, that you just have to stay, work, enjoy, party, all in the same place. So I think that as a concept is here to stay in India, and we do very large formats. Having said that, the experience that you give them is the cream on top of on top of the cake, and that's something is a key differentiator that any brand would want to invest in to differentiate, because at the end you're selling a square room, right? It's just a room, it's an apartment, it's a space that somebody makes a home. But for us, the amenities, the beautiful clubhouses that we build, the greenery that we build around the complexes, the lobbies that we build, that is our intellectual property. So outside of that, yes, service, I agree with you, but service is not upfront. Service is what happens later. This comes from a lot on word of mouth, trust, and you've got different strata. There are people who are at the lower income. They also want the same commitment at their price point, and they have the uber luxury who also want, they want a helicopter service, they want white glove service. Both do coexist, and we service both.
Great, great. Thank you for sharing that, Ajay. And I will have one or two more questions around that in the final rapid fire segment as well.
Okay, all right. I look forward to it.
Yeah. So, Ajay, coming back to the matrices around CX, we went through your profile and we see that you've not only championed matrices like CSAT and NPS, but some of the very specific and niche matrices like TSAT and LSC as well. From your point of view, what do organizations overlook when it comes to measurement? And how do you ensure that these numbers are just not vanity KPIs, but drivers of real change?
Very, very valid. I think that is 90% of what we do in the experience side of it. Is first to have a measure. And I think it's good to have a measure which is universally accepted. Then your benchmark is easy. And this is customer initiated feedback as opposed to, just you call somebody and write down a survey. So all ours is done through software. We don't do it manually. We take the feedback, and we also want to benchmark. Now, if you look at some of our metrics, when I started out 4 years back, we were at a very low NPS. But today we hit an average of 7+70 on an average across our. I think we've got 5 touch points where we measure the NPS. And given our product, these are all actual touch point metrics. This is the first part. So, okay, on the NPS side. However, very interesting, and this is a learning curve. Yes, the good part is we are learning every day. I had a very interesting question asked of me when we just had a recent annual operating budget exercise that I don't think all the customers are very happy. Now, a typical CSAT and NPS is never administered 100%. It is a sample. right? The sample is what you assume to represent the larger. But the question asked to me, and that to buy, you know, was I'm selling a product, but each customer who has bought for 2 crores is as important as the other customer. I said, yes, that is true. So, are we able to address 100% as opposed to just a sample? Because sample does not, I'm not happy with the sample. So, we recalibrated. And I'll give you a simple metric. The simple metric is, were we able to resolve the customer's query within 24 hours? What I was measuring was a turnaround time, right? Which is defined by type of query, etc., etc. And we looked at what is the average time taken. So I shared that. I said our average is we don't take 24 hours, we take 30 hours to resolve. So differential is only 6 hours. But that 30 hours is actually a median, right? Between a response in 2 hours and a response in 6 days. So we recalibrated that and said, okay, no, we will make sure it is 100% within 24 hours. I love that kind of a metric because that for us is it from the customer side of it. It enhances his or her experience by saying, I'm guaranteed a response and resolution within 24 hours. So, since this is just hot off the oven, I thought I must share that with you. So, while the rest of the metrics we are fine with, we have just recalibrated to make sure that any customer query that comes in gets responded and resolved within 24 hours. Simple, no questions asked at a very base level.
No, that's very important to always learn and keep pushing ourselves. I remember from our experience, Ajay, we had an SLAs that we have to resolve customer queries between 48 hours, right? And though we were meeting most of our SLAs, but when I looked into deep dive into the SLAs, I saw that because the SLAs are 48 hours, in case some of the queries were also pretty simple, people were picking it after 24 hours because they had to close it between 48 hours. So we added another metric that in pickup time also there should be SLA for the initial response and the acknowledgement and the review process starting time as well. That it's in itself helped us to reduce that SLA from 48 hours to 24 hours. So I can completely understand what you are trying to say here.
Yeah, and it's something I take your responsibility for because at the end I'm the one who set the matrices.
Yeah.
And even to me that was a blind side because I looked at a turnaround time as opposed to a resolve within 24 hours because our product is not so complicated. There's no, I don't have to do any development activity to respond or resolve. So, but to me, an eye opener after 35 years, and I'm still learning. So that's the beauty.
Ajay, I have one final question before we move to our last segment. That we say that we are in a world where everyone AI is not a buzzword anymore, right? Everyone is looking and talking about AI, starting implementing it, either from large LLM models to agentic AI. We see that in the recent survey that 70% of the companies have already started adopting AI at their end, and others are saying that they are in a phase that in the next 6 months they will start adopting AI. At XEBO, we are also focusing on ourselves in terms of building AI-driven tools to help clients to measure CX smarter and make it more actionable. From your perspective, what should the next generation of CX leaders focus on, especially in industries like hospitality and real estate, where the customer journeys are long and especially are more emotional?
That's always an interesting question, Yash. At most of these conferences that I do attend, one gets carried away with the hype and the buzzwords. They used to be big data, got into reality, mixed reality, virtual reality, and this flavor keeps changing, right? But however, having said that, I think what AI, the positive construct of AI is it makes logical sense of large amounts of data. It does require tutoring. It is not you just wake up in the morning and AI will start doing the job for you. It has to have a logical data set from which it can extract and give you information that can help you. Now, take in our case, what we are doing, our implementation that's in progress right now, is we're taking a very simple level. That our customers who get in touch with us, can I automate the process of responding to them with all I require is one moderator who just validates that the response is perfect. That's because we have a rich database over the last 4 years of responses to customers. And in my industry, real estate, in our industry, things don't change too much. There are not too many moving parts. So it's relatively easier. From that perspective, it's a low-hanging fruit that we can implement, which is what we are doing. And while I know that 70%, as you've said, a statistic that people want to or are in the process of, the only danger there is a lot of them do it out of pure peer pressure, not out of addressing a problem that they have. And my fundamental, like all the talks that I've also spoken on, and I tell them, it must be something that addresses a pain area of yours, that you're not able to do it with a standard model, that this should help you simplify and address it for you. So if it comes from there, then you'll never fail. But if you're only doing it to just ape a competitor, my sense is it'll fall flat in 3 to 6 months. It's not sustainable.
No, that's completely true. We have to be careful about AI washing and just doing AI for the sake of it, right? And I see a lot of potential in every industry. I was very pleasantly surprised I think in the this year's Shark Tank when I saw one of the AI company building the entire architecture diagram for my interior designing to be done using AI, right? That was pretty cool, and I think that is something that can solve a lot of time, effort that goes into designing your home. I still feel that once it cannot be only AI that drive the things. It has to be a mixture of AI and human element, and that will be the future. And no matter any industry we are talking about, it will be very crucial.
Just sorry, Yash, on that. You asked me about real estate and hospitality. These are two industries which are predominantly touch and feel.
Yeah.
These are not virtual, right? These are not tech companies. This is not a virtual marketplace. So from that perspective, my sense, 80% will always be the human touch. The experience, that is the human touch. But transactions, 100% can move on to tech-based solutions. But the contact, the touch and feel, etc., is a human touch driven, and I love that, because you can't replicate that part. But yes, you can take care of the rudimentary, very mundane, transaction-based response system through technology like AI.
That's true, Ajay. Completely agree. Thank you, Ajay. That brings us to the next set of question. That is, we have some rapid fire for you. You don't have to think much. Answer it in one or two points or lines, right? I will go ahead and just think whatever comes to your mind first. Right?
Okay.
Ajay, an unforgettable customer experience you had very recently?
To me, Apollo, and this I use tech because Apollo, for the first time, well, I don't like going to hospitals. I used the Apollo app. I was able to get an appointment on the same device. I was able to get my consultation, get my prescription, buy the medicine. Brilliant experience.
What's your go-to productivity hack?
Well, I think the first part is the simple part is if it is measurable, it can be defined. Yeah. So at a very base level, if I can measure, I can define. So everything that I put in place first has to be measurable. At a very base level. I'm sorry if I can't give you a better answer, but at a very base level, if you can measure, you can then improve, you can define, you can apply.
Sure. Ajay, if not CX, what career would you be in?
If not CX, well, I would have been in the Indian Armed Forces. That was my childhood dream.
Amazing. Ajay, one final question. I think you can maybe take some more time. For our audience, there would be some people who will be buying their homes for the first time, young investors. What suggestions will you have for them in order to, if they have to buy any property?
Do your homework very well, because it's a market, it's a crazy market. If you do your homework well, the likelihood of you getting burnt are lesser. While there's a lot of regulation in place, but since this accounts for a large proportion of your income, please do your homework well and go with a reliable brand that has a history of delivery, new products, they're constantly launching new products and delivering, you'll always be safe. The ideal would have been buy a property which is ready to move in, but that doesn't exist because there's always a price differential between a ready to move in and a under construction. So first do your homework very, very well about the developer from where you're going to buy your property.
So thank you so much, Ajay. That brings us to the end of the podcast. And audience, in case you have any further questions or you want to understand more about the property, real estate, and Ajay shares a lot of information on his LinkedIn page, please go and follow him. We will share the link in the podcast link. Thank you, Ajay, for your time today, for sharing your insights and experiences. Right, I'm sure that everyone will learn from it, and it's your journey in itself is a masterclass in building scalable systems without losing the human touch.
Thank you so much, Yash and Karishma, for calling me and inviting me on this platform. My best wishes to you and the organization, and hope we do another series, another episode soon. I love the rapid fire.
Thank you so much, Ajay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day.